Today we're at the 14th annual Aztec Image Car Show, which took place at the Kern County Fairgrounds. This massive Central California event features hundreds of custom lowriders, trucks, and classics, alongside live performances by Little Rob, Mariah Avila, and Diamond Ortiz. This was a vibrant atmosphere with flawless paint jobs and live concert energy. This isn't my first time here at this car show. Actually, I've been here a couple of times with my family, and every single year we really enjoy it. I'm sure I've brought this up in other videos, but my dad wasn't really into lowriders. He was more into muscle cars and hot rods, and my mom has really been wanting to check out these lowrider shows the past year or so. So my husband and I have been, going with her and my nephews to check them out. And even though it's not really something that my dad was super into, it still reminds me of his style, and just seeing like the classic cars and listening to the oldies and just seeing kind of the culture that's involved with the lowrider scene. It still makes me think of my dad because he wasn't really a part of it, but he was still kind of around it, like adjacent to it. And it's a really good opportunity to kind of reminisce with my mom and hear about how she was when she was younger and the things she used to do with her friends when she was like a teenager before she had me. And I don't know if anyone else really thinks too much about this. I'm sure that they do, but as we see our parents get older, we just want to connect with them more. I mean, especially after losing my dad, I'm trying to understand my mom more and spend more time with her and really understand what she's all about. You can see somebody on a regular basis and still not really know their story or take the time to actually talk to them, because a lot of the times you're just coming and going, or you keep things very much on the surface. And my mom just turned 60 this May, so I'm trying to spend more time with her, more quality time, not just hanging out in the same room, but actually talking to her and just hearing more about her life. So if you're wondering why I go to car shows and lowrider shows and do a lot of different things that aren't really something that I would pick on my own, it's because I'm trying to be there for my mom, spend time with my mom, and these are the things that she's into. She likes to see lowriders. She likes to listen to oldies. And both of those things are actually a lot of fun. My two favorite cars from the show was the pink Marie truck and the champagne pink lowrider. Now we're going to fast forward to Friday afternoon, and we're actually driving down to Orange County. I'm going to do a little bit of a story time here, but basically we left town early to try to get to my brother's very first show with his band, Atlas Has Fallen. And because of some miscommunications, we got there on time, but we thought his show had started at 7:30 when actually his set time was changed to 7 o'clock. So my husband was able to get in and get the tail end of his set, but as soon as we got the kids in and myself and my mom in, unfortunately, he was already taking down and his set was over. Not gonna lie, we were all pretty bummed out about that, but it's okay. Now we know just to double, maybe even triple check when his set time is if we're coming in with the kids. And hopefully we can catch him on the next All Ages show. I'm really looking forward to that. Without further ado, this is Atlas Has Fallen at the House of Blues in Anaheim, California, and this is their first show ever. You can catch my brother Daniel as their lead guitarist. I'm so thankful my husband was able to get in there and get some footage of the band because that set was awesome. Even just the few minutes that he captured had so much energy and their stuff was on point. So if you guys get a chance, give him a like, a follow, check him out on Spotify. And his band is called Atlas Has Fallen. So, as I mentioned earlier, we did bring the kids with us to that show, and I always make sure that each one of the kids has noise protection. My nephews have their own set of headphones, and we actually bought one for our daughter as well. So, that's just one of my number one recommends if you are going to bring kids to live music, live concerts. Please protect their ears. Be responsible for their hearing. They don't know what's going on. They don't know exactly how much damage is being done to their ears. And after years and years of concert going, I've definitely suffered from hearing loss, not protecting my ears as a young person. So please just be mindful of that if you are going to bring kids out to shows. Invest in those noise canceling headphones. While we're on the topic of children at shows, of course, I'm in the camp of, all ages shows should be available to adults that want to bring kids to shows and kind of show them the scene, the community, expose them to what it's like to be a part of that and experience live music. But in the same breath, I also do believe that you should be responsible and keep an eye out for them. And obviously, you don't want to be bringing children around people that are using drugs and alcohol. So I don't think that kids should be at every single show. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, teach them young. If that's what you're into and they're interested in going to see live music or see a band that they're into, go with them. Show them, the ropes. Show them, my husband and I talk about this all the time, but like pit etiquette. Show them like what your experience was and kind of what you've learned as someone who is a musician or someone who likes to attend concerts and just be out and about. Expose your kids to that. But I always think that, you should do it in a safe manner. I wouldn't bring my nephews or my daughter into a pit. I don't really know when the perfect age is to let them do that kind of stuff, but I personally started when I was like 12. And yeah, I've had my fair shares of being pushed down, punched, having boots fall on my head, getting smacked in the face. And yeah, it's just kind of part of the way. But I wouldn't want a little 8 or 9-year-old to deal with a giant adult slamming into them or throwing them around. So with anything, use common sense. If you are going to bring a kid to an all ages show, just keep your head on a swivel. Always watch where they're at. Make sure there's no creepy person, man or woman, talking to them. Make sure there's nobody giving them anything to drink or drugs or anything like that. I know that sounds kind of dramatic, but it's just, I've seen a lot of things. So yes, all ages shows. Be the responsible adult. Be the one to take your kids out, your kids and their friends, but always keep an eye on them. Teach them the way. I mean, it's kind of our responsibility as old heads to teach the younger kids, like, what's up, Anyway, I'm going on and on about this. There's just a lot I have to say about music and the kind of like younger generation of kids that are getting into it versus like us older people that have been going to shows for a very long time. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about the scene, being a part of your community, and just a lot of things that have happened, are happening, and maybe we'll talk about it in another vlog. And before I stop, I just want to say, when I mention the new generation versus old heads, I wish it wasn't like that. It shouldn't be like us and them. Everybody should be inclusive. Everybody should be teaching each other, about everything, about music, about etiquette, exposing younger people to really great bands or giving them history about bands. things that they are interested in and want to know about, instead of feeling like they need to gatekeep stuff. So, as I was on my rant about music and all ages shows, we ended up here at Hart Park, which is one of my favorite parks here in town. And this is just a really relaxing, huge place on the east side that families like to go to barbecue, throw birthday parties. A lot of people swim in what people call here the killer kern. I don't partake in that, but a lot of people do. Way back in the day, this place actually had somewhat of an amusement park going on. So it had like rides and just all kinds of things that were available for people to do. And now they're kind of remodeling it. I saw that there was some stuff done to one of these little like stages that they had out here, like an outdoor stage. And there's also an area that they're going to do, I think, a splash park. But we don't get a lot of new things in East Bakersfield. So I see that they're working on things, but it looks like it's very slow moving. Either way, even if they didn't redo Hart Park, it's one of my favorite places to come and decompress and walk and just look at the river. And I love it.
Oh man, who's crying?
I don't know, but that is a horrific cry.
The Cooperative Project for Outdoor Recreation. Stay out my swamp. The lovely artwork, courtesy of the Tallgan Boys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, Tall Boys.
Before we left the park, we actually walked over to the new play area that is being built for kids. So hopefully they go through each section of the park and remodel the toys. But this is what they're working on right now, and it's currently in progress, so it's fenced off. While we were walking, I was telling my husband that I wanted to make teppanyaki, or I was wondering how hard it would have been to make teppanyaki at home. And he just jumped on his phone and booked us a table at this place called Kampai. And this is actually our first time having dinner here, but it's a teppanyaki place here in town. And this was our first time having dinner there. So when he called to make the reservation, they asked how many people would be sitting at the grill, and he let them know it was going to be him, myself, and our daughter. And I guess they need to fill up each teppanyaki grill. So when we got there, we ended up sitting with the full family that was celebrating one of their son's birthday. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit thrown off and felt kind of awkward at first, but I had a feeling we would be sharing a grill with someone. So after I kind of got used to sitting next to complete strangers, I ended up having a good time. But that was just my social anxiety kicking in, and it wasn't for very long. Just kind of weird sitting with a table full of people who are celebrating someone's birthday. We even sang happy birthday to the kid too, so it was interesting and fun. Daddy, put my I'm sorry, I'm gonna put that over there just for a second. Oh, look, you get the rice. I hope you all are enjoying the smooth sounds of the teppanyaki chef at work. He put on a very nice show, and I know probably teppanyaki is not that big of a deal for most people, but this was our first time going as a family, and it was my daughter's first visit, so it was very special to us. And I ordered the steak and shrimp, and I think my husband ordered the same thing, to be honest. I shared my plate with my daughter and she loved the steak. I didn't give her any shrimp because I'm still kind of wary about giving her shellfish and too much seafood. She does love salmon, but the shrimp was just kind of off limits for her that night. She had fried rice and miso soup and Japanese steak, and she loved it. My husband and I have been talking about how we don't want our daughter to be a picky eater, but she's becoming a little bit of a foodie, so we know at some point she's only going to demand gourmet foods, and this plan will backfire on us. Nah, who am I kidding? She's an only child, so she's gonna get whatever she wants anyway. Just comes with the territory. My favorite line to people when they tell me that, oh, she's gonna be spoiled, or put her down, you're spoiling her. It's like, I did not wait 40 years, almost 40 years, to have a baby, to not give her everything she wants. So that's that. All right, so before I finish up this video, I want to share a couple of spooky clips from my mom's security camera. We don't know what this is, why these videos were triggered, but I'm going to show you two clips. One of something that looks like a bat, and the other one that actually looks like a frickin' entity or orb that was in her backyard. So I'm going to be quiet now, and I'll have the clip in real time, and then I'll do it in slow motion. I don't have any idea what this could be. Obviously, we're going to assume this is my dad's spirit hanging around the house because my mom's remodeling, and he's probably just rummaging in the back looking through his stuff. All I know is I've seen a lot of paranormal videos, and this is some of the weirdest paranormal evidence I've ever seen. Take a look for yourself.